is the day before the market.
I have a bunch of pieces that I kind of destroyed.
There were so many people. This was my most profitable event ever. Hello, my name is Bria. Welcome to the video. And welcome to this super blank wall with a single light on it. The light's not on because that would mess with all the filming stuff. Anyway, I have about an hour until everyone else gets home, so we'll see how much I can film in that time. But I have a market in less than 2 weeks. Like one day less than 2 weeks. Anyway, and I need to do a mock table setup because I would rather know what I'm doing. The problem is I don't 100% know if I'm getting a corner booth because they were the same price as a normal booth. They're both 10 by 10 feet. So I need to potentially do 2 table setup options. I emailed them a few weeks ago. They said that they would try to get me into a corner booth, and I haven't wanted to email them again because I already emailed them once. So I'm just planning on doing 2 different setups just in case. And then also I have a market 3 weeks after that one. So, and they're both pretty big ones. The second one is actually my first ever 2-day market, and it's also a convention, like anything, video games, movies, TV shows, tabletop gaming, all of that. But the one I have to worry about right now is the one in 2 weeks, which is a handmade market. It's the biggest one in the area. So I need to try and figure out what I'm going to do for that. The problem I'm facing right now is I don't have access to my 4-foot table at the moment because we have some family staying with us. Hey, you. This is my sweet girl. Well, she's not mine. She's the family dog. Look at her. She's concerned because I'm talking to myself. Okay, I'll put you down. I do have an 8-foot table, which the event is providing, so I don't need to bring mine, but I have it for the mock setup. And I have a 6-foot table, which I actually have to go get from upstairs because people are using it for puzzles. And they just finished one, and so I need to steal it before they start another one. So I'll go grab that. I'll be back. I moved the camera. I got the other table. It's this one right here. Hopefully you can still hear me. But this is the plan. Provided 8-foot table and the 6-foot table right here. I know the camera angle is not ideal, but I'm gonna start trying to set up just to see how things will look. This corner, it might be a bit of a problem. So I think by overlapping it, it should be okay. And if I clip it from the inside, it will not have that spot that you can see my stuff underneath. The issue is that this isn't actually a tablecloth. It's a blanket. And there's like a whole rolled up section back here. So hopefully that's not too ugly. It should be covered in stuff. So I'll just have to see what it looks like with stuff on it. I wanted to show you what it was looking like before the rest of my family got home, which is going to be soon, so I don't have much time left. I've got most of the big pieces out, but I've got my wire display. I've got a crate for now. I don't know if that's going to stay there. Moving around this way. This corner, I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do with it yet. I'm thinking either my fidgets or like my planty garden stuff. I have like a section that's all themed around plants and bugs and stuff you would find in a garden. Moving around this way, this is the keychain rack for my fidget keychains and shelves, obviously. I don't know where I'm going to put the ivy panels yet, but that's what it's looking like so far. Probably move around, but hopefully I will remember to show you before I actually go to the market. If not, I will show you when I'm there. I haven't filmed in almost 2 weeks. It is the day before the market. It's Friday today. The market is tomorrow. I've been trying to remember what I did in the past while since filming. I have no idea. I guess I could show you what's on my desk because I crocheted those in the past while. I crocheted a Bulbasaur. I quite like this body design. And the fact that it's lower sew than some of the other Bulbasaurs that I've tried. Because the other ones I had to sew on the head, the bulb, and the ears. This one I just had to sew on the ears and the bulb. And obviously embroider the spots, but that doesn't count in my opinion because embroidery is different from sewing in my mind. So, and this was this person's first pattern that they've ever released. It's quite good. It's very good. I'll link everything So in case you're curious, it'll be in the description. I made, if you can see that, it's a pastel circus sprinkle rat with a ruffled collar. It's so cute. Actually, once I finished crocheting that one, I illustrated it. I made like a full colored little drawing. In case you didn't know, probably most of you don't know, but I went to school for illustration and animation, and I haven't been doing that in a little while, and I felt like I was missing out. Not missing out, but I wanted to get back into it because I've just been so focused on the crochet stuff. So I've been doing that the past few weeks, and that's been incredibly fun. I might show you a few things, but later. Actually, if you can see this back here, that's something I've been doing that's related, but not quite drawing. So maybe I'll show you that. I also made a sprinkle axolotl, if you can see that. The last plushie that's on my desk, I have a few other things that I've made, but is a fox. And I decided to make it with the Burnett. What's it called? It doesn't have an official name for the line, you know, like mystical or frosting. What is going on up there? Anyway, but this is the color Adobe. It's got like purples and reds and oranges. It's very pretty. Next are some fidgets. I got to test this pattern set. I'll link it again, obviously. They're so cute though. They're based on vegetables. You can't see that at all. Let me show you. There's 5 of them. First is an avocado. It's like a dimple. The center pops in and out. Next is a broccoli. This one, the top pops up and down. The carrot. Look how cute that is. This one, it snaps back and forth. Another dimple. This one's a pea pod, but you can pop the peas in and out. And then a pickle. This one has a marble in it, so you can move the marble back and forth. I also made some versions into keychains by just adding a little loop. We've got the avocado again, a pickle keychain, and a carrot. The last thing, it's a pattern pack by the same person. So these ones are a little bit harder to explain. Those are the colors, so I'll just show you one. It basically is like an infinity loop. It's kind of hard to show you with the camera, but you can pull this like edge ribbon piece out of the center and it just goes on forever. So that's pretty cool. Yes, that's all the stuff that I've crocheted recently on my desk. I really need to clean it off and inventory it because the market is tomorrow and I wanted to bring them. Anyway, also I think I showed you my table setup in the last clip, or at least the early stages of my table setup in the last time I filmed. Well, guess what? I finished the mock table setup and took it down, and then I realized, oh, I probably should have filmed again. I'll try and remember to show you tomorrow when I'm actually at the market. Also, if you're noticing extra stuff behind me, that's because my craft room and my room are like connected, and my room is right underneath the bathroom of the upstairs bathroom. We discovered a leak, so I had to move everything from that area of my room to my craft room, and it's a catastrophe in here right now. It really stresses me out, but there's nothing really much I can do about it right now. We've got like the bin with covered in Lego sets. They're all Animal Crossing ones. Also, I'm thinking about trying to do something different for the transactions for the craft fair tomorrow. Not craft fair, it's a handmade market. So kind of craft fair, but more professional. It's a bigger event. So instead of taking transactions on my phone tomorrow, because I film with my phone, and I wanted to try and film more at the market, I was thinking about using my iPad instead. Yeah, it should be fine. I've tested it already, you know, with the hotspot and stuff. That's something I have to consider. But maybe that means I'll have more market footage for you. Obviously, I'll have to see, because the market tomorrow is one of the busier ones, at least when I went to the Halloween event. So I'll have to see how much I actually film. What should I do next? You know what? Since I'm at it, I might as well tag the stuff that I have right now, inventory it, and put it with the rest of my market stuff so I don't forget it tomorrow. So yeah, I'll see you in a bit. I'm back. I tagged everything. Made myself a frozen hot chocolate, and I inventoried everything that goes along with the tagging, I guess. I had some lunch. I think it's time to show you what I've been working on the past few days. The illustration stuff. So, if you're not interested in other aspects of business other than crochet, feel free to skip ahead a little bit. It's totally fine. But I got myself a button maker. You probably have no idea what that is. I'm just going to show you the first one I made. These. So this is the first one I ever made. I just doodled a little mouse rat friend on a blank piece of paper. Look how cute it is. And this is the back. It has like a clip on there that you can use to clip onto stuff. And what the button press does is it essentially combines the backing with the actual image part, plus a few other pieces. But let me show you the actual button maker. I'm gonna switch the camera around. The audio might change. It's all good. So this workspace is a bit of a catastrophe, but I want to show you anyway. This is the button maker. So this part slides. You put some pieces in here. You use the handle to press it down. Obviously harder than that. And then you put the backing piece in here. Slide that in. Press it down again, and because the pieces are in this part at that point, it all squishes down and combines. And then you slide it back out and you have your finished button right there. Maybe I should have just shown you an example, but I used all my stuff, so not all the stuff. What I'm saying is I used all the stuff that I printed to actually press, so I don't have anything else to use to make more images. But speaking of the stuff that I designed, these are some of them. So these three are my rat abega, care rat, and rat-ish. And then a corn rat, which I don't have a name for yet, but these three I actually have a mod for on my Instagram for my rat pattern. So you can make your own. So I decided to illustrate them. So I thought that was super fun, the fact that I crocheted them and illustrated them. So I have like a picture version, and I also have a physical plushie version. All of them except for the corn. That one I haven't crocheted yet. This is one set of them. And I just attached them to the backing card by cutting a line. But they're so cute. Some of the colors I need to adjust still. Like, I'm not super happy with the color of the back for this one. But moving over back to my desk, here's some of the other ones that I illustrated. This one has a bit of a print line on it, but it's fine. This is going to be a set. I'm trying to decide what to call it. Probably the Mushroom Forager set. But this is a chanterelle mushroom, a morel, a inky cap, sulfur tuft, I think, oyster, and fly agaric, I think that one's called. I drew all of these as well. You can see that it's not the best quality print. It's a little bit speckly, but it still looks quite good. Yeah. I don't own a printer, so I've been borrowing my mom's work printer. Here's a close-up of the pin itself. You can see how it like presses in. Since my button press has actually two different sizes of presses with it, I can just swap them out. I can actually make bigger buttons as well. These ones are 1.25, the face. And this one is 2.25, I think. But I thought this one was funny. This one I did not draw, but I did design it in Canva. Like, I took a whole bunch of assets and laid them out. But I think this one's kind of funny. Some of them didn't turn out as good as others. For example, this one, this inky cap that I was showing you, there's a little spot right here that didn't properly, oh, what's the word? It didn't properly press, I guess. So I'm trying to glue it into place. That's why it looks a bit messy, but it's the back, so I think it's okay. I might just keep that one for myself, though. Also, back to the button maker. I have a bunch of pieces that I kind of destroyed. Like this one is caved in instead of like a hill like it's supposed to be. Plus it's like crimped in. So I can't use that one anymore. This one completely got destroyed. Don't know how that happened. I've just been making notes to myself just so I can figure out the best way to make buttons. Because if you look at this,
You see how this top piece rotates a little bit when you slide this back and forth? That's been causing a bit of an issue for me with lining up the backing into the right angle, because I want it to be horizontal with the image on the front. But most of the time it's coming out a little bit crooked. So I've been trying to figure out how to fix that and how to place the backing in slot B and actually get it to be correct. I think I've got it. Yeah, I was just making notes to myself. But that's the button press. I really want to do more illustration stuff for my business. And that's one of the ways that I can use that side of my abilities. One of the other things I want to do is maybe get some stickers printed. The problem right now is, obviously, again, I don't own a printer, so it's harder for me to get stuff printed. I have a Cricut. It's my grandma's Cricut, but she's letting me borrow it for now. But again, half the battle is the printer. So I'm thinking about doing vinyl stickers though. And in order to do that, I have to get them outsourced. And there's a local company that I found that would be able to do that. I just need to actually be able to buy them. So I'm thinking I'm going to wait until after my next craft fair, or after my craft fair after, what am I saying? The craft fair in like a month instead of just tomorrow. Well, 3 weeks. I'm rambling, I'm sorry. But I've been trying to figure out what to do for the rest of the day because I don't want to crochet, because that might make me spiral into a whole I don't have enough stuff thing. And so I'm gonna crochet as much as possible, and then I'm gonna get no sleep, and then I'm gonna be super tired for the market tomorrow. I'm not gonna crochet. Let's just say that. I kind of want to do some more illustrations. The other thing I could do is there is this game that I want to play. It's a video game. It's called Sticky Business, I believe, but basically you run a sticker business and you get to design stuff and you get to print stuff, and you I'm realizing now I was literally just talking about that, doing that in real life, and now I want to play a game about it. But it looks really fun and more casual than actually running a business. But I want to be able to play that. So I might get that for myself, but I might wait until after the market. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. Also, I'm realizing I'm pretty low in the frame. Sorry. I need to decide. The important thing though is that I'm just going to relax today, so I'm ready and prepped for the market tomorrow. Why does everyone have to be so loud when I'm filming? Oh well. But I think I will see you later. Maybe tomorrow, maybe later today. I don't know. Bye for now. I'll see you later. Hello again. I'm back, obviously. It is the Wednesday after the event. Should I have filmed earlier? Yes, but I don't know what to tell you. I didn't really get to film at the market except for the beginning video and end video. Hopefully those played. But I have a good reason. Let's get into recapping the event. So me and my helper got there like 2 hours-ish before the event started. But, well, before it was open to the public. We got in, we set up the table within the time limit, which is great because I was very worried about that. And then the doors opened. It was busy literally the entire day except for the very last hour. I brought my crochet project to work on. I only got to work on it before the event, and the last hour, as I said, right before it closed. The rest of the time, I was standing, talking to people walking by my table. Or standing at my table, I guess. I'm not just yelling at people that walk by my table. I only got to sit for maybe 10 minutes in the day. Other than the beginning and end, as I mentioned before. When I did get a break, I scarfed down food and water. Because you need to hydrate and make sure you are fed. There were so many people. Sometimes I go to events that are super busy, but not very many people are buying. This was not one of those. Basically anyone who came by my table bought something. At least a really high percentage. Which, wow. Wow. Yikes. I mean, not yikes in a bad way, yikes in a good way, but still, I was overwhelmed. There was a lot happening. And everyone at least most of the people that came by were so nice. They like complimented me on all my stuff and like how good my work looked and how unique and creative a lot of my pieces were. So it was a really, really good day. And the amount I made reflects that. This was my most profitable event ever, I think. Just for a little bit of context with that, my previous most profitable, why is that hard word to say? At least last year, from just a quick check, it was a Canada Day market, and I made like just over $1,100. And that's after I subtract table fees and square fees. I know I should also be subtracting like yarn costs, but unfortunately, in order to calculate that, that would take so much of my time, and I don't have time for that. Anyway, this market, the gross amount, which is before I subtract table fees, was over 2,000. I was blown away. Obviously, also there is the table and square fees, which is the highest I've ever paid in fees for any event. I think it was just over $200 for the table. And if I'm remembering correctly, like $40 for square, which usually is closer to like 20 and less. So the net for this event is which is the amount after fees, is closer to just under 2,000, but still the fact that I can technically say I made $2,000 at an event is just mind-boggling to me. And by the way, these are all Canadian dollar amounts, but I'm not sharing super specifics because I want to just give kind of like I've been trying to decide if I want to, like, how much information I'm willing to give out. Seriously, what's happening up there? Anyway, I've been trying to decide how much information I want to give out. For this event, though, knowing I made double, like nearly double, my last event, my last best event, I should say. Not quite double, obviously, but I'm in shock. I'm in awe. It was just an amazing day. Like, it wasn't, nothing bad happened that I would be like, I don't really know about this event. No, it was great. All the people were so nice. Basically, everyone. Maybe there was like one or two people that looked at the price and were like, But, you know, that's on them. That doesn't reflect the event as a whole. But to give you an idea of some of the things I sold, a bunch of smaller stuff, yes, obviously. But a lot of the big stuff sold. Like, I made a whole bunch of stuff for Geek Fest, which is the like fandom convention I'm going to in just under 3 weeks now. But stuff like my giant Totoro, my Legend of Zelda Link. One of the most interesting ones for me was the fact that so I've had like these dragons. It's the Crochet by Jenna No So Dragon pattern, and I've had like 5-ish of them, and they haven't really sold except for maybe 1 or 2 here and there. Basically every single one of them sold today. And my Animal Crossing Stitches doll sold. My Soot Sprite, my Junmo. A lot of the fandom stuff that I was debating even bringing to this event, because I specifically made it for Geek Fest, sold. And like a lot of the bigger stuff was selling. And a lot of the smaller stuff basically sold out. Like my mini bird's bin. Like the mini birds are about that big, I'd say. And like there's like a little bin filled with them that I have. My pattern, by the way. I was left with like 2 or 3 at the end of the day. The axolotls. There was 1 single axolotl left at the end of the day. It was the green one. I'll put a picture. I took a photo. I feel so bad for this poor axolotl. Why does no one want the green one? I love the green. And the other one I only had 1 left in, somehow, was I had a basket filled with fluffy rats, which were mostly made with faux fur yarn, or like just softer, like more textury, fluffy chenille, basically. Not chenille, but like that fluffy stuff. I'm trying to remember what it's called. I can't. It looks kind of mossy. Let's just say that, but different colors than just green. There was a single one left in there. I also took a photo of that one. But like, I brought a bunch of chef rats. They look kind of like Remy from Ratatouille. Shh. They're called chef rats. I sold out of those. They're gone. I have to make more, obviously. A bunch of the chicken sold. A bunch of my regular rats sold. A bunch of the fidgets sold. Not all of them, obviously, but a bunch of them. Oh, and speaking of the fidgets. So I had one person come by. They really liked the fidgets. But, they bought one. One of the snappers. Basically, so, these clips. They're like barrettes, but you open them by doing that. And they, like, snap in place. Well, those are in my snappers. And these are metal. Anyway, a few hours later, they came back and were like, hey, I think I broke it. And I'm like, how is that even possible? And so I looked at it. I was holding, they handed it back to me. Yeah, it just didn't snap anymore. I need to dissect it. Because, I let them exchange it and get a different one. But, so I have the broken one. And I need to figure out what is happening with that one. Because I want to see. But that means I have to cut it open and see what happens. I haven't done that yet because I have a bunch of other stuff I need to do. And speaking of other stuff I need to do, I'm starting to worry about the amount of inventory I have for Geek Fest. Because that's in less than 3 weeks. I have maybe 14 days, 15 being generous, to restock. If I make $50 worth of inventory every single day, times that by 15, that's like $750, I think, added to my inventory, which ideally would be 1,000, but in order to get 1,000, I'd have to make way more every day. I don't think I can do that. So I'll have to see what I can actually make and what I should prioritize. If you want to come along on the journey of preparing for Geek Fest in the next little while, I'm actually going to do a separate video, hopefully. Hopefully I get to make another video on the preparations and event of Geek Fest. So if you want to see that, and it's not out already, you could subscribe. I hate asking about that, but it is very much an option. If it is out already, maybe you can find it on my channel. You can go check it out if you're interested in market videos and market prep and crochet and cool stuff they make, because I might be doing more than just crochet soon. Again, no promises. Anyway, I've been rambling on enough. I think that's going to be it for this vlog, if I didn't miss anything. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully something was interesting to you, you learned something, or just as background noise while you work on a different project. That's totally fine too. But for now, see ya!